YouTube will cease to exist as we know it if Article 13 is finalized in its current form. Does that catch your eye, random viewer? Well, if you're in the EU, this video is made especially for you. And everyone else watching the video, stay tuned because this video I'm about to make is important for your eyes as well. Hello Internet and welcome back to ShoJoe series, the show that talks about important matters that are on my mind. More important things than that. Now this show has halted its production for a while now. It's been 2 years? 2 years since anything important has happened that I needed to talk about. What about Logan Paul in the forest? And all the stuff with demonetization? I need a moment. Barring all that, there's something important that needs to be addressed that I felt it was time to dust off the old computer and put together a video on. Article 13.
Article 13.
Article 13.
Article 13.
Article 13.
Now what is Article 13? Well, to my understanding, it's a subsection of a much larger law that could be finalized in the EU called the Directive of the European Parliament and of the Council on Copyright and the Digital Single Market. Which, oh boy, is a boring and long drawn out title for a very scary law. Maybe that's why MEPs that voted on this law didn't even know what they were voting on for, as YouTuber Count Dankula puts in a video of his.
Everyone we spoke to, no one had any clue, no one had any idea what they were talking about or what they were even fucking voting for. Well, no, it's not doomed. It's not as bad as you think. Like, yeah, it's actually kind of as bad as you think. Press F for Europe.
Now, to grossly oversimplify, Article 13 threatens to eliminate Safe Harbor. Safe Harbor, to grossly oversimplify again, means that sites like YouTube won't get in any trouble for the actions of their content creators. Let's say creator X uploads a 24/7 live stream of SpongeBob or Invader Zim. YouTube isn't the one that gets punished for the breach in the law. They are told, though, to take down the infringing content and issue the content creators a strike. Article 13 demolishes that and now forces platforms like YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, etc. to be the ones at fault for the breach in the law. Now I can hear you say, but ShoJoe, on the article itself it states that sites like Tumblr, Facebook, and YouTube just need to have a content ID system, like what YouTube has at the moment, that keeps full copyrighted work from being uploaded to their sites. What's so bad about that? Well, for that, I'll let MatPat educate you on why this is a big issue.
It all sounds reasonable, right? But here's the trouble. You see, an earlier version of Article 13 mentioned, quote, proportionate content recognition technologies, which sounds like what YouTube already has in place. Automatic detection of recognized content upon upload. And if that was actually what was written, well then things would be fine. I wouldn't be making this episode. But this didn't make it into the version that passed. The people behind Article 13, which is mostly the music industry, because quite frankly the music industry tries to kill anything that it finds threatening, wants to keep the language vague because then they can demand basically anything they want and say, well, the law requires you to cooperate in all good faith with us. What does good faith mean? It's unclear, it's poorly defined, and that's the problem. What they're demanding is that nothing that has the potential to be infringing be uploaded onto these websites. Catching it via Content ID once it's on the system isn't good enough. They want to stop it before it even gets uploaded. So what does that translate to? Well, it has the potential to mean the end of all user-generated content.
Like videos from I Hate Everything, Game Theory, Film Theory, and all these creators that you see on screen, including the man that everyone has been talking about for the last few weeks, PewDiePie. You want to see his videos? You want to support him in the fight for the most subscribed spot against T-Series? Well, if this legislation passes in the way it is now, Pews and any of the content creators I mentioned won't be able to send uploads or make anything for people in the EU. And that goes for creators in the EU as well. Their content won't be able to reach outside the EU at all or even upload to their preferred sites if this passes. Just ask Susan Wojcicki, CEO of YouTube, on what would happen if Article 13 passes. I quote, Article 13 as written threatens to shut down the ability of millions of people, from creators like you to everyday viewers, to upload content to platforms like YouTube. If implemented as proposed, Article 13 threatens hundreds of thousands of jobs, European creators, businesses, artists, and everyone they employ. The proposal could force platforms like YouTube to allow only content from a small number of large companies. It would be too risky for platforms to host content from smaller original creators, because the platforms would now be directly liable for that content. End quote. The safe harbor shield that I was talking about that was protecting YouTube and other sites from copyright strikes may dissolve. And now that their butts may be on the line, they may be forced to only let the big companies that they are sure have the rights to the works they are publishing access to uploading on their platforms. Well, I guess you're thinking right now, that sucks for people in the EU, but why should this apply to me, Joe? I don't live in the EU. I'll let MatPat once again take the stage and inform you all.
Why should I care? Well, you might not be European, but the sites you use operate in countries that are part of the EU. And when different countries have different laws, companies usually cater to the least common denominator. Rather than having different policies for users in different countries, companies will just usually target the strictest set of rules and comply with those, then apply that set of rules to everybody. For a recent example of this, earlier this year, you probably got a flood of emails from Facebook, Google, Reddit, and pretty much every website under the sun notifying you, hey, we've updated our privacy policy, click that you accept it. Well, the fact that you got all these emails around the same time wasn't a coincidence. All of these companies were updating their privacy policy to comply with GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation passed in May by, you guessed it, the European Union. These sorts of privacy and copyright changes affect all users, not just those based in the EU. And trust me, once media companies realize that they can take us down in one part of the globe, I guarantee they'll be knocking down the door trying to make it happen in more corners of the earth.
You see why this is a big issue now? Like Matt said, once companies figure out they can abuse this power in the EU, they'll probably start reaching out their slimy tendrils to other parts of the world until we're all affected by this crushing force. If you won't take it from me or Matt, then take it from one of my friends and fellow content creators, Laserhawk. I asked him what he thinks would happen if this legislation passed, and he said, and I quote, "It can restrict any and all creative uses of copyrighted material, such as fan animations, fan art, fan dubs, parodies, and references. Even playing clips for a joke or review could subject the entire creation to be taken down. This legislation can take away all creative freedoms to any creator of fan-based work." End quote. I may not have that many subscribers that live in the EU, or have that many viewers that watch my content in the EU, but as I've shown, this affects everyone on the internet. Me, MatPat, Jacksepticeye, PewDiePie, everyone that makes their livelihood on the internet. If this legislation passes, it could mean the end of all of us, and could result in the EU being taken out of YouTube. Now what can I do, I hear many of you asking. These end is here videos usually talk about the impending threat, but don't give us a solution to the problem. Well, I'll tell you a few things to do. First off, share this video and the countless of other videos on this topic with people you know, family, friends, other content creators that you may know that may be even way bigger than I am. Not because I have an ulterior motive of get this video a lot of views, though in this case I want this video to get a lot of views so more people are in the know about Article 13 and the dangers surrounding it, because I think I did an okay job with this video. I think I've given you guys a lot of time to process this and act on it accordingly, unlike my video on where's the fair use. You got till the end of the year, about 2 to 3 weeks, or up until January 2019 to act on this. So chop chop. Secondly, raise awareness in your own way. Make tweets about Article 13 on Twitter with the hashtag #SaveYourInternet. Make your own YouTube videos, pieces of art. Just raise awareness for this in any way you can. And lastly, if you are a viewer of mine that lives in the EU, or you just happen to stumble across this video and happen to live in the EU, talk to your MEPs. Tell them in a clear, concise, and logical way that the way Article 13 is now will cause much harm to the ecosystem of Europe's internet. We need them to understand why this matters, that the issue is the language of the law is too vague and is ripe for abuse by big corporations if it is finalized in the way it is. because if it's finalized in the current form, this could be an example of the content you see every few months from me.
Hey there everybody, ShoJoe here, and welcome to... Today we are going to be diving into... Hope you enjoy!
Hey there everybody, ShoJoe here, and welcome back to the review show, where today we're going to be talking about... Hope you enjoy! And that's no theory. It's a fact if Article 13 is finalized in its current form. Save your internet, guys. Save my hobby from becoming extinct.